Welcome to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I am Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we are looking forward to another spring day.
We are.
Maybe more spring showers.
Yeah, it's sounding like rain is headed our way. But for right now, the sun's shining, and
not too bad
good.
outside.
Yeah, it's kind of chilly.
We're knocking on the end of April when we're recording this show, and I keep telling myself, April showers, bring May flowers.
I know.
April showers, bring May flowers.
I tell you what, I've never been more ready for May in my life than I am right now. My kids are so burnt out on school this year. It is a struggle bus.
Done.
It's just a lot of things at the school are winding down, and it's to that point where I'm sure it's chaos there. I'm sure the teachers are burnt out, and it's just like the kids are like, "This is terrible. Do I have to go?"
Because when is graduation? It's super early. Is it the
Well,
first?
last year it was like May the 8th, I know, because Amelia graduated. But this year I think it's like the 10th or the 12th.
Okay, is it? I was thinking for some reason it was like the first weekend.
Oh, I don't think it's that early, no.
Okay. I don't know. It seems like it gets earlier and earlier.
I know.
And then because I remember when I was in high school, when the seniors would graduate, then the other kids would go for maybe like another week.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they're in school for
like 2 weeks.
3 weeks. I mean, it seems like they're there forever.
Yeah. When I was in school back in the day, I went until like June the 10th, June the 12th. That was usually like our last day of school. Now it's like May 17th, May 18th.
Yeah, it's early. And we never started school till like after Labor Day. So
That's
we
probably
started
why
in
we
September,
went late.
And then we would usually get out of school about June 1st, 2nd, first week of June. It wasn't like it is now. Nothing's like it is now.
No, everything has changed, and nothing is the same.
Nothing is the same, and I'm not so sure. I think it's for the better.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of strange things.
I know.
I wonder. It's kids getting antsy, and
yes, that's what it is. They're antsy, and and when I say kids, I'm mainly speaking about my junior high boy. He's just like really over school this year.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hang in there. Like, we're counting down the days with him.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Carissa, she's the one in high school, and she's running track right now, so she's pretty happy.
Now, is track her sport? Is that the one
That's
she likes?
That's her sport. That's what she likes.
Has she ever done tennis?
No, she hasn't. I encouraged her to do tennis last year, and she's never played tennis a day in her life. She went, I mean, other than like in PE maybe this year they might have played. I don't know.
Oh, to me, she seems like she could be a good tennis player.
Yeah, I know. She kind of seems like that to me, too.
Tall and lanky. Get them long legs, those long arms stretched out there.
Yeah.
I played tennis once. If the ball didn't come like here, then I would.
That's how I played tennis,
too.
it
didn't just fall off? Okay.
I wish badminton was a school sport. I mean, I think all my kids are good at badminton. Let's bring that back. Could we?
We played badminton in PE, and Susan Maddox Hagen and we were partners all through high school, and we dominated. We love badminton.
Yeah, badminton is awesome. And we have a badminton set at home that we'll probably set up again this year.
Aren't we getting in Florida? Aren't we
pickleball?
And I'm not sure I know what pickleball is.
Okay, well, you obviously did not go to North Clay High School.
I obviously did not.
Obviously you did not, because let me just say, North Clay graduates were pickleball when pickleball wasn't cool.
Really?
Way back in the 90s, and probably before that.
You keep saying way back, and I'm in the 80s.
I know, but no, so, we always played pickleball, and actually, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought we played it way too much. They could have just done it a little bit, and it would have been fine with me, but it was every other week was pickleball. Oh, we don't really have anything planned today. We're going to do pickleball, pickleball. And I was like, good grief, enough with the pickleball. But now it's all of these people are it's a brand new thing to them, and they've never even heard of it. And it's they're traveling, they're doing pickleball tournaments.
Oh, there's tournaments everywhere.
There's tournaments, and they're all super impressed with this sport. And I'm like, where have you
people been?
I feel like Barbara Mandrell singing "When I Was Country, When Country Was Cool."
Yeah, I don't. So does pickleball? Is it with a racket?
It's with a paddle.
A paddle, but a bigger paddle. It's
honestly, it's been so long since I played.
I don't know. I can't remember either.
Yeah, it's a paddle, and then
it's kind of because the ball can hit the ground and you hit it.
Yeah, it's a lot it's kind of what would you call it? A cross between tennis and badminton.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a customer that she lives up in Bloomington, and she comes down still and gets her hair done. Done her hair since she was in high school, so she travels down, comes down every 6 weeks and gets her hair colored. And she's a big pickleballer. Big time. Big time.
I would like to know if anyone out there wants to do the research. Did North Clay High School invent pickleball? I kind of wonder if they did. No.
It's three rich white dudes.
Okay.
3 rich white guys.
Yeah, they were bored.
They were bored
and invented pickleball.
Pickleball.
Tennis racket.
And what was the year for that?
They couldn't find tennis rackets.
Let's just see when they invented it.
They
because
couldn't
it
find
was
tennis
prior
rackets.
to the 90s, I'll tell you that.
So what did they use?
Ping pong paddles.
Ping pong paddles. With a bigger ball.
1965. Well, my goodness sakes. Someone out there is watching the show and been like, oh, yeah, we played that at North Clay High School in the 60s.
Well,
Been
when I
around a
get
long
bored,
time.
I don't come up with games. I need to come up with something so I can become rich.
I know.
What can I do?
I don't know. I wish you would hurry up and think of something.
Every time a new toy comes out, I was like, why did I think of that?
I know. I think about like that with sewing stuff. They invent new sewing things and different things. I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
Why didn't you think about that?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's crazy.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, speaking of crazy, let's
what do
talk
you got?
let's talk
You
about
got
our
a crazy ad today to start the show?
Yeah. A little crazy ad.
Okay.
Look at this cute little feller.
Oh my goodness. Ken Osmond before he became Eddie Haskell. I love that kid.
You really love that kid?
I do.
He's
I think he did a great job playing that character.
Yeah. Oh, he did.
He had to have real acting skills at a young age to pull that off. You could tell you look lovely today, Mrs. Cleaver.
Mrs. Cleaver.
Yeah, you look lovely today.
But he's like telling the beaver, get away from you, little creep. He said he always called him a little creep.
Oh, yeah, you little creep.
So this is a Sugar Pops ad with Ken Osmond, a.k.a. Eddie. He'll always be Eddie Haskell.
Yes.
Was that the only part that Ken Osmond ever played? Because
he had a whole bunch of parts.
Because once you play Eddie Haskell, you're typecast to Eddie Haskell.
You are exactly right. That's what happened. So before he was Eddie Haskell, he had like a bunch of small parts and like that Petticoat Junction and different shows like that. And then his mom was like a real stage mom. Like she wanted him and his brother and everything. She took him to like all of these different, tryouts or whatever you call them. And he got on as Eddie Haskell. And then after that, any other part, no one really wanted him because they were typecasting him as Eddie Haskell. So then you know what he did?
What did he do?
Became an LA police officer. LAPD. LAPD.
Eddie Haskell.
Eddie Haskell, because he couldn't get any acting jobs anymore because he was so typecast. So he had to work, so he grew a mustache.
Crack up.
And so like his coworkers knew who he was. Ken Osmond is his real name. But his people that he, dealt with on a daily basis did not know it was him. And he was a motorcycle cop all over LA.
I'm thinking that if I got pulled over by him, I'd be like, holy cow, you're Eddie Haskell.
I think I would too. And then he got shot in 1970 by he was chasing this guy that was running away on foot, and the guy shot him 3 times.
What?
And, yeah, but he had a bulletproof vest on that caught 2 of the bullets. The other one ricocheted off of his belt and ended up kind of getting him. And then he was out of work for a while. He tried to file for
workman's comp.
Or disability, and they went to court. And anyway, he was denied that, but he went ahead and just retired.
Yeah. See, because like those people back in the day didn't make the insane amount of money that these people make now.
Mm-mm.
Like every cast member of Friends was making $1 million an episode.
Oh, right. No.
Yeah, it's
and especially as
money.
a child, he didn't.
And the child actors didn't make that.
He was actually involved in a lawsuit, too, against the SAG, the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, because apparently they had kept like $8 million or something from a whole bunch of different child stars over the years.
Oh, I bet they robbed him blind.
And not distributed them. So he went in. He didn't sue them personally. It was a class action lawsuit against them. And I think that that might have been one. I don't remember, but he might have got a little money back. But like nowadays, those stars, they can do like Comic-Con and like make all these appearances and make a lot of money off that, write books. I think he might have written a book, but anyway, I just feel like they're more, I don't know.
Yeah, they're more protected now. But a lot of those child stars, whatever. I mean, because like whatever did happen to, like, if you get typecast like that, like Jerry Mathers. I mean, was he ever anything besides the Beaver, or maybe went on the Love Boat?
I don't know.
An episode of the Love Boat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Make those weird
I saw
cameos.
a thing the other day on him that came up and that said that he's the only one left alive. So out of the original Leave It to Beaver cast, and that he's just happy being a grandpa.
Yeah.
He's like in his I think he was born in 48. So what does that make him? 76?
Something like that. You're the math queen.
Well,
I started binge watching Leave It to Beaver on one of them streaming things. I love Leave It to Beaver.
I do
used
too.
to watch it all the time before I went to school.
Yeah, I used to watch it after school. It's a good show.
I always liked Leave It to Beaver. I always liked the Munsters. I always
love
thought
the Munsters.
you were it's like you either love the Jackson Five or the Osmonds. You either watch the Addams Family or the Munsters.
But I did both. I liked Addams Family and the Munsters. I have to.
I've never watched an episode of the Addams Family.
That's
in my
why
life.
you don't like it, though.
I've never watched
because
it.
It's actually really, really good. But anyway, Eddie Haskell, Ken Osmond passed away in 2020 from COPD.
COPD.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if he was a smoker. Probably everybody smoked.
Probably everybody smoked back in the day. So how many ads do I show up here and it's all smoking ads? I come across more smoking ads, smoking alcohol.
Yeah,
I got most of the ads I come across are.
Yeah, everyone talks today about like our young people are so unhealthy and they smoke a lot and drink a lot, but it's kind of always been happening.
I think it's always been around.
Yeah.
So very interesting.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. That was kind of a neat ad. It's kind of nice to find an ad of, it takes us back. We do like all the old stuff, and it's neat to find an ad with. I mean, I'd never seen that.
My favorite was Wally.
Yeah,
he was the cute one.
You loved
Tony
Wally?
Dow. Yeah, he passed away in 2022.
Golly gee, beef.
I know. I felt really bad, like crying because I was like so upset about that. But he was in his 70s. I think it was like I was crying over this old man, but it was like in my mind he was still young.
The only time that I ever like really was upset when JFK Jr. when his plane went down.
Oh yeah,
Jim and I were on our way to Panama City Beach. The boys were in the back seat, and we were driving through Nashville, and it broke that JFK Jr.'s plane went down, and Jim was like, "Oh great, I suppose this is going to ruin our entire vacation." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." I would just sit there on the beach and was just sob because I love JFK Jr.
Yeah.
Because I've got a story about me tracking him down in Hyannisport that I probably never told you.
Oh, really? Do you want to share it now or later?
No, I'll share it a little bit later.
Okay. Wow.
Right now we got to take a commercial break. I might share that story when we come back.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
At your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville, you can count on experts to have the solutions to keep you running on the road or in the field. More than just your car, the Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville carry a large inventory of Napa products for farms, heavy trucks, and just about everything that moves. Experienced associates understand your needs and are ready to help with the perfect part at a great value. That's Napa Know-How at your locally owned Napa Auto Parts stores in Flora and Louisville. Briscoe Surplus Sales on the northeast edge of Flora is your one-stop do-it-all shop. Looking for rugged boots and footwear from great brands like Lacrosse, Rocky, and Carolina? They're there. How about top-notch small engine parts and service? Briscoe Surplus Sales has it. Whether you're wiring your switches or switching your wiring, Briscoe Surplus Sales has the solution and the know-how to help you get the job done right the first time. Briscoe Surplus Sales, your one-stop do-it-all shop.
We like technology at Flora Savings Bank. Here's what you can accomplish in our mobile banking app in less than 30 seconds. See account balances in your transactions, set up an account alert, make a transfer between accounts, get an alert text message about your transfer, pay a bill, turn your debit card off and then back on. It all happens in the palm of your hand with our free My Bank to Go app. Search My Bank to Go in the App Store or Google Play and give mobile banking a try. Flora Savings Bank, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and I'm going to tell you a little story.
Okay, let's hear it. I've never heard this
Beth,
one.
we were talking about Leave It to Beaver, and Beth thought that Tony Dow was the cutest thing. Of course, she was watching Leave It to Beaver on reruns in the 90s, and he was in his 40s, but young, he was cute. But I loved JFK Jr. It was 1998. My mother, my Aunt Barb, and my cousin Buffy, we flew to Boston.
Okay.
So we fly into Boston. We have no car rented. We have nothing rented. We're just flying in. We rented a car. We just traveled. We went to Cape Cod. We went to Martha's Vineyard. We went to Nantucket. It was just it was October. It was beautiful. You can't beat the East Coast in October. So we're in Hyannisport. Hyannisport is where all the Kennedy compound's at. So we're just driving around. It's October. There's really nobody. There's not a lot happening, you know. So we're in Hyannisport, and we're driving around, and we come across this gated community. We're like, let's just go in there. Because we stopped at an ice cream. So we're driving around, and I'm recognizing things. And I'm like, so we're driving around, and I'm like, we had just taken the day before a boat tour. Like, you go out there, and they're like showing you, like, here's the Kennedy compound. Here's where Joe Kennedy lived. This is the Kennedy compound, and that. But you're out in the water, right? So you can't. They're like, oh, you can't get. I'm like, can you get to that? They're like, of course, you know, I would ask, and they're like, no, you can't. You can't get to that. It's a gated community. You can't drive around back in. How'd you get through the gate? Well, the gate was open.
Oh, okay.
Let me just tell you. So I'm not lying one bit. This is hysterical. So we're driving around. We're in Hyannisport. We got off the boat the day before. We're driving around. We stopped at this little ice cream place. Of course, when you're in Hyannisport, it's all about the Kennedys. So, and then we're like just driving around, and we're like, let's just drive over there and see. Of course, my Aunt Barb's game for anything. So we're driving around, and we stop in this parking lot. And then, like, you can see where, like, there's a little booth where, like, a security guard would be, and, like, gates, you know, like a gated community would be. And then over to, when I looked to my left, there was this tall rock wall about as tall as not quite as tall as I am, about to my chest, and then the rock wall faded into the ocean, and then it kind of like rounded around, so you could see where the beach kind of curved and went back that way. So me, in my tricky little mind, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know those, and you could see, because it's all up on a hill, so you can kind of like see the rooftops of the houses. I'm like, the Kennedy, it's got to be right there. If we because remember we were, you know, me and Aunt Barb were like, yeah. So I said, let's drive back there. And my mom was like, no, don't do it. So like we went right through that gated community, and we drove back there. We were literally at the back, like in the area where all the compounds out, all them rich people are living. And I'm like, there was a mailbox there, and it was like J. Kennedy.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Kennedy. I'm like, we're literally at the back. There is the Kennedy trash can. We're back by the trash cans. So anyways, we drive around. So then I'm like, let's walk around on that beach. And my mom is like, you're not doing that. I'm like, we could jump that wall. So we go back and we park, and we jump the wall, me and my mom and my Aunt Barb and Buffy, and we walk around there and like walking on the beach. So we're like walking down the beach, and then like you can see these steps going up, and then you could see like the tops of the house. And we walk down a little bit. And like we get there, I'm like, oh, and like we walk around here, and like right here's where the steps coming down from the Kennedy compound, and we're like right around that curve, and a man comes walking down from that house, and it's
security.
No, it's John Kennedy Jr.
Oh my gosh,
it's John with that black and white dog that he had. You see him photoed with. So that black and white dog is there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, John. And you could see, because he was getting ready to run, and he was visible, and of course, you know me, I yell, John, and he turns and he looks at us, and I'm like, you know,
oh my gosh,
and he went. And he kind of waved, thinking, you probably shouldn't be here. So, you know, you could tell that he was just, and he waved, and he took off running with that dog. So we're like, oh my gosh. So he takes off running, and then we walk down there, and of course I take picture of his footsteps. I've got pictures.
Stalker.
John's footsteps. I mean, I'm one of those type people. It's like, so you're Brad Pitt. That don't impress me much.
Right.
I'm that person. But when I saw JFK Jr., because I loved JFK Jr. And so anyway, I'm like, I'm walking up that Kennedy compound's got to be up there. Those stairs are, Mom's like, Stacey, there's got to be security.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I'm surprised you made it this far and you weren't arrested.
No, there's nobody around. So anyway, I walk up there. I'm standing in the backyard of the JFK compound where they play football, when you see them playing football, where they land their helicopters. I am in the backyard.
Oh my gosh.
Of the Kennedy compound.
Oh,
my mom's down there. Of course, Aunt Barb's like, she's up there with me. So of course I pull. When you get up there, it's not like typical beach houses, because then when you get up there, it's like perfectly mode, it's grass. So like you walk like over here, you got the beach experience, but then you walk up in there and then you're like in a beautiful green grass yard. So of course I pulled some of their grass. I kept some of their grass.
You're probably, I don't know. They might not have had security videos.
They did not have. So anyway, I just couldn't believe there. I mean, I sit down on the ground. I mean, I'm just like absolutely, I'm stunned.
Yeah.
Right? So then it's like, okay, so now the sun's going down. Now,
how long were you there?
Oh, I was waiting for John to come back. I was waiting for John to come back.
Meanwhile, your mom and Buffy were just down on the beach.
Mom and Buffy and Aunt Barb. Aunt Barb was up on the grass with me in the Kennedy compound. So I've got my pictures of John's footsteps. I've got pictures of him running away from me. I've got grass, I've got sand, I've got everything. I'm now like it's starting to get dark because it's October.
Yeah.
All the lights in all these houses are starting to pop back on.
Oh.
So we walk back down there and Mom's like, come on, let's go. He's not. So the next thing you know, here he comes running back.
Ooh, it was a long run.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, you know.
So then what?
So he starts running back. He realizes that the same crazy women are still there. And then he waved to us. I waved to him. He waved back to us. And then he did not come all the way down there. He ended up going through somebody else's yard and cutting through, probably going home. But I, Stacey Earlywine, was in the backyard of the Kennedy compound. And yes, I took their grass.
And where is that grass today?
It is the grass and the sand and the pictures of JFK are in a box in one of my hope chests. So of course when I get back, right, I called Jim.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you're not going to believe what I did today. You're not going to believe this.
I bet he didn't.
He did not believe it. He's like, well, I said, no, you're not going to believe it. And I told him the whole story. And Jim, my husband, Perfect Jim, said, Stacey, there's no way that was John. And I said, yes, it was John.
That's such a Jim thing to say.
No. He said, no, honey. If that really would have been John and he saw you, he would have ran off and you wouldn't be calling me right now because you would have left me for John Kennedy Jr. And I went, you're right. It probably wasn't him because I've been out of here.
Oh, gosh. Man, that's a good story. I did not know that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, we talked. I mean, it was just the highlight of our
life.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a close encounter. And then, of course, it was a year later he was killed.
Yeah, how sad.
Of course, and then I was always like, I told Jim, I said, if I'd have been married to him, he would have been flying that plane. I'd been like, it is too foggy out here. We are not flying this.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. I would have stood my ground been like, excuse me, John?
Yeah.
Jim said, well, Stacey, if you were married to JFK Jr., he probably still would have been alive or you would have, because you would have been like, I ain't going to that plane.
Yeah, right. For sure.
That was literally
so sad.
That day. Yeah, boy, he was cute.
Yeah, he was cute.
Boy, he was cute.
Yep. How sad for that whole family that they've just had so many tragedies.
I'm a big fan of the Kennedys.
I like the Kennedys, too.
I'm a big fan of the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit. We went to the Genealogical Society this weekend and went through, and God bless them because they really take care of us when we go up there.
Thank you, Darla.
Thank you. And I came across this article from Rita Lynch Thomas, who was involved in the Genealogical Society, and I didn't realize they put out a cookbook, and it was called Roots to Good Cooking. Of course, it was like recipes, hints, folklore, remedies. What's funny about this, we've done, what was that one cookbook we did? Do you remember what the name of it was?
It was called the Orchard City Cookbook, episode 10.
Yeah. How did that do you know all of our episodes?
No, I just happen to know that one because I just do.
You pulled that right out.
Yeah, I did.
But anyway, so some of these old cookbooks are funny.
Yeah.
Because the remedies they have are hysterical, right?
I thought I had this Back to the Roots cookbook. At one time I did. I wonder if it's my mom's cookbook. I've looked through this one before, but go ahead.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the Clay County Genealogical Society published a cookbook. It was 145 pages, and it was called Roots to Good Cooking with over 300 recipes. But what I find fascinating is I like the remedies.
Yes,
in
the
cookbooks
remedies
that they do. It's so funny.
More than the food that you eat.
Yeah, right, exactly. So there's a section called the Oldies, which consisted of, what do they mean by hints? Hints. Yeah, it consisted of hints, remedies, and recipes from another time long ago. Rena writes, they should have considered it for entertainment or just interesting breeding and not necessarily for actual use, although some may have had validity.
Validity, yeah. You never know about some of those old cures, like the old wives' tale cures. There is a little truth in some of them.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, I think they were just trying to come up with something to, like psychologically make you feel better. Like, I'm doing the best I can.
Well, mind over matter, don't you think a lot of it is?
I do.
Because I do think, I look back at some of the old wives, and it's like, I don't know.
We could do a whole episode on old wives' tales.
That'll be fun. Let's do that. Let's do that. Write that down.
Got it.
We're always writing stuff down because when we're in here, our little heads just go bing, and then we start doing weird stuff.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, anyway. Formula for making your own cologne water.
Okay.
1 pint alcohol, 30 drops of lemon, 30 of bergamot, and a half gill of water. So if you want to smell like lemons, if that's what your cologne water. If musk or lavender is desired, add some quantity of each. The oil should be put in the alcohol and shaken before the water is added to the bottle.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like you could drink it as well.
You could drink your cologne water. Well, yeah. I mean, it did when they said alcohol, it didn't say vodka.
What is bergamot? What is that?
I don't know what bergamot is.
I don't know either.
Ty, what's bergamot?
I think it's something I think it's a liquor. I don't know. Isn't that in certain mixed drinks or something? Or what is it? Guess we'll find out. I don't know.
We will find out.
Obviously, I don't drink that stuff, so.
Right. While he's looking at that, did you find it yet?
It's an orange.
It's an orange. What do we know? Nothing. We know nothing.
Bergamot is an orange?
It's a type of citrus fruit.
A type of citrus fruit. Okay, so they were going for a light, summery, citrusy smell.
Yes.
Lemon and oranges.
Of course, back in the day when you bathe all the time, that probably would have been a good. Mm-hmm. Oh, before I go on, we got to take another commercial break.
Oh, already? Okay, we'll be right back.
That's what happens when you talk about John John.
If you're looking for a loan for your brand new home, call Clay County State Bank. If you want to transfer money so your future will look sunny, call Clay County State Bank.
We got checking and savings and bill pay too.
An online bank, just ask our crew. For all your banking needs, we think you will agree.
Clay County State Bank is the place you need to be.
Clay County State Bank.
At Clay City Banking Company, we're all on the same team, regardless of zip code. At home, work, school, or across the country, you can be part of our team with our cutting-edge mobile banking products. From your hand, you can check balances, transfer money, make deposits, and pay bills. Looking for a loan? We've got you covered with our mortgage, agriculture, commercial, and consumer loans. Join our team today. Clay City, Flora, Louisville, and Fairfield Banking Companies. We're the hometown banks, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
Tomorrow. Some fear the uncertainty it brings. Some trust the promise it holds. At Grinnell Mutual, we are always looking forward to tomorrow, growing and innovating. So even if the plans you have for the future aren't the same as the plans the future holds for you, you can be ready. Because we'll be ready, like we have been for over 100 years. Trust in that. Trust in tomorrow. Talk to your mutual agent today.
Your local agent is on the square. Louisville, Clay County Farmers Mutual Insurance.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. I'm Beth Cooper.
I'm Stacey Earlywine, and we are talking about the Genealogical Society cookbook they put out a few years ago, Roots to Good Cooking. And we just talked about how you can make your own cologne water, because I'm not really interested in the food that they've made, but I am interested in
because these recipes they had in the book weren't. Like, a lot of them they pulled from history, right?
Right.
Like, these are old from the
They're old from way back when.
They got out of their research.
Well, here you go. This one you're going to be interested in, Beth.
Okay.
Cure for drunkenness.
Oh, tell me about it.
I used to think it was a Diet Coke, a Jillian's cheeseburger, and a chocolate shake.
Yeah? Did that work for you?
Yeah, that
I did. There you go. We need to write our own cookbook.
That'd be the only recipe in there. Cure for drunkenness. Okay, if my sisters are watching, listen up, girls. They're going to kill me for saying that. Pulverize a pound fresh quill red Peruvian bark.
Peruvian bark.
Is that
it?
It's Pervu.
Oh, Peruvian?
I don't know.
I don't know what that is.
I don't even know. So I'm not.
Bark.
So we're all just going to have to stay drunk because I don't think we have any of this
You
bark.
don't have any of that Peruvian bark
I don't
laying
have
around in your
Peruvian
kitchen?
bark around the kitchen.
Ty, where would you find Peruvian bark?
Poor Ty's going to be.
We're going to Google that boy to death today. Okay.
Soak it in 1 pint diluted alcohol.
Okay.
Strain and evaporate down to a half pint. For the first and second days, give 1 tablespoon. Oh my gosh! For the first.
How many days is this going to?
Wow, how many days are you going to be drunk?
Do you think this is like if you're trying to sober somebody up, like to get them from never drinking again, kind of
maybe?
Thing? And also, how many days prep do you have to do, or do you wait until they're like, if you're taking this yourself, do you have to do all these steps while you're drunk? Like,
man,
let me strain this.
Because I'm pretty sure if you're drunk, you're probably going to soak your bark in some more whiskey. And just eat the bark.
Oh, my gosh. This is a lot of work.
For the first and second days, give 1 teaspoon every 3 hours. If too much is taken, headache will result.
Oh, they already have a headache. Sorry to tell you.
In that case, the doses should be diminished.
I have a feeling this is a recipe somebody's mother would make.
I love this.
And then the son, I'm assuming son, would come home drunk and she'd be like, 2 days of Peruvian bark for you.
I think you're right. On the third day, give a half teaspoon. Fourth day, reduce the dose to 15 drops, then 10, then 5. In 7 days, the average case will be cured, though some require a whole month.
Whoa.
That's funny.
Whoa, that's some
funny.
serious drunkenness there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. I think that must not just be a night out kind of drunk. That must be you are a drunk and we're going to save your life.
Yeah.
And you're not going to drink anymore.
There is also a section in the cookbook. I love the drunkenness, by the way. That was funny. The cookbook tells of how to care for venison, which venison is deer.
Uh-huh.
It reads, with regard to venison, which is not an everyday article of diet, it may not be convenient to keep for some time after it has begun to get high or tainted. The animal purification is checked by fresh burnt charcoal. This prevents the animal from getting worse. The meat should be placed in a hollow dish and the charcoal powder strewed over it until it covers the joint to the thickness of a half inch.
Oh my
now,
word.
Don't try this at home. I don't want any casualties, Rita writes. That's like,
wow.
Yeah, because if you think about that, when somebody back in the day when they killed, they didn't have a lot of.
Right.
How did you keep? But
well,
charcoal.
Let's talk about how Paul Ingalls did it, shall we?
Please tell me how Paul did it.
Because he had a smoker. He had a smokehouse out in the yard. I mean, for real, from the books and not the TV show. But he probably had one on the TV show too. But no, it was kind of neat how he did it, but they just like smoked everything and like almost like dried it out like jerky kind of.
Like jerky, yeah.
And then they stored it in their attic. And like pork was like kept in salt, which they called salt pork. But then, you think about it and you're like, how salty was that meat when they ate it? And just let's go back to that venison for a minute. Like, can you imagine like digging through this pot of deer meat and like looking for the pieces that are less tainted to feed your family?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I have the stomach to have been a housewife back then.
I couldn't have.
I guess it would have I wouldn't have questioned it.
Well, we wouldn't know any different.
You wouldn't know any different.
I tell Jim that all the time. It's like, I would never survive back then. He said, you wouldn't have known.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't have known. But like meat and me, I eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian or anything, but I don't really like preparing meat that much. It kind of grosses me out.
I want it to just show up magically at IGA.
Yeah.
Or Salt and Strings, and then that's how I want that to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then there's a story recently told about a man from Xenia. He had a very large family. He killed a deer one day and butchered it to feed his family since times were lean.
Uh-huh.
Well, he suffered the wrath and ostracism of his neighbors and friends because they thought it unthinkable to do such a thing in killing a deer.
What?
This was probably in the late 1940s, and there just weren't many deer around.
Oh, right. That we did go through a time period where like a lot of the deer were gone. That's why we have conservation now.
Right, yeah.
But So there wasn't many deer, and they all got mad at him.
Apparently.
Well, you got to eat. That's why God put the deer here.
Well, I'm pretty sure I believe that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't say what his name is, but yeah, in 1940s, it doesn't seem like that's been
That's
that long
not that
ago.
long ago, but
yeah,
back then the deer were in Charlie Brown Park. Maybe people saw them as pets and not as supper.
True.
Now there's enough for everybody.
Now,
you can have a pet or you can have supper.
You can have both.
Ty, did you find out what Peruvian bark was?
Yes.
What is it?
It's from Peru.
It's from Peru.
It's off a fever tree. It's used for medicinal purposes.
Used for medicinal purposes off of what they call a fever tree. Now that
a fever tree
is very common around here.
A fever tree?
I'm teasing. No, like
I know
where did they get these? Like this is their plan to do. Let's just get this Peruvian bark. It's from South America.
Stay drunk for a long time. I'm going to have this bark shipped over. When that bark gets here, I'm going to cure you from your drunkenness. But here, in the meantime, drink up.
Can't imagine.
Huh.
Okay.
Here's another thing that I always found interesting. Most farmers used to make their own butter. Mm-hmm. And we who are old enough to remember remember how expensive those butter churns got at auctions?
Yes.
Did you ever buy those? You couldn't even hardly touch them.
No,
things.
I never
Everybody
bought one. I
them.
never had a place for it, but they were expensive.
I don't have one. Let's see. Sometimes it was difficult to keep the butter for any length of time without it getting strong and pungent.
I don't know.
The words, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, here is what the book advised. To preserve butter for a year, make 3 gallons of brine strong enough to bear an egg. Add a 1/4 pound loaf of sugar, 1 tablespoon saltpeter, but I wonder if that means salt pepper.
No, saltpeter's a thing.
Is that saltpeter's a thing? Mm-hmm. Is it really?
Yeah. So look up the definition of saltpeter, please. They use it in Little House on the Prairie.
No,
I'm not kidding. All my knowledge comes from reading books. Okay, go ahead.
Allow brine to cover the butter. Okay, pack butter. Wait a minute. Boil the brine. What's the brine? What am I boiling?
The brine? Brine is like the juicy, like pickle brine, like the salty stuff that you soak the cucumbers in.
Yeah.
You put that's like a brine.
Oh, okay.
So you've got this brine.
So we're boiling the brine.
Okay.
When cold, strain carefully. Pack butter closely in small jars. Allow brine to cover the butter to depth of 4 inches.
Okay.
This allows excursion of air. If practicable, make butter into small rolls. Wrap each carefully in clean muslin cloth, tying with a string. Place a weight over butter to keep it submerged in the brine.
Okay. This is making sense to me. This one doesn't sound too awful crazy, but it's very interesting. I don't even know what's happening right now. Oh, okay. What, Ty?
It's just a food preservative.
It's just a food preservative. Saltpeter is just a food preservative. Okay.
So that's how you keep butter, people. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go buy...
We are going to go buy our butter at the store, but what happens to the day where we can't go to the store and buy butter because they're out because there's a pandemic or there's no internet and we have to make our own butter?
We have to make our own butter? Well, I guess I'll go without butter. As long as I don't have to go without A1 steak sauce, I'm okay.
I know.
I can live without butter.
Stuff in bulk.
I do too.
We buy it at Sam's, and
I love
the other night, the worst thing possible happened.
We ran out?
Yes! I thought I had a whole cabinet full from Sam's, and we had went through it that quick. And here it was. The steaks were coming in off the grill, and there was an A1 bottle in the fridge. Mm-hmm. Some child of mine had put it back in the fridge empty.
Oh, that's charge.
I know.
Charging with treason.
I fingerprinted the bottle.
I would have.
And discovered everyone's fingerprints were on it.
My money's on Silas. Silas did it.
My money's on Malia.
So here, this book even has a cure for baldness.
Okay? Oh, tell.
For baldness, pound fine 1/2 pint of kernels of peach seeds.
Of course.
Put them in 1 pint of good cider vinegar and use as a wash. Apple cider vinegars, they loved apple cider.
Well, I do love apple cider vinegar. I mean, you really can do a lot with apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
But also with regular vinegar. There's a lot of uses for vinegar that I'm discovering more and more all the time. But baldness is not on my list of things that I eat.
Peach seeds.
Peach seeds and vinegar.
So I guess you just crunch that peach seed up. Pound fine a half pint of kernels of peach seeds. So you're making them fine.
Okay. I might try that. I wonder if I could try that on my cat. She's got some bad allergies right now. She lost some hair on her tail because her allergies are so bad. I could maybe try to put some peach seeds.
You might be able to do that.
And vinegar on her tail. You think she'd like that?
Probably. That's so funny. Here's another recipe. I love this hit for treating asthma. Oh, this is gross.
Uh-oh.
A muskrat skin worn over the lungs with the fur next to the body is said to be certain relief for asthma.
Certain relief.
Please spare the muskrat. Now, you tell me. Spare the muskrat.
Oh.
Really? Muskrat fur laying on your chest?
I can't imagine that would do anything but hinder your asthma, and you'd be like, it's really hard to catch a breath. Like, my chest feels so heavy. I don't know, but Silas he has asthma, and he goes back to the pulmonologist in a few weeks, and
I think you should mention the muskrat fur.
The pulmonologist he's a nice guy. I'll be like, so how often do you use muskrat fur in your practice?
So.
You're not using it? Well, let me tell you.
This book even goes on to go into, so that's some of the funny things. Okay. This book even goes on, talks about table etiquette.
Oh. Let's hear it.
This one's pretty good.
No one uses table etiquette anymore. And in fact, I'm guilty of it as well.
Wait a minute. I just found another one.
Oh. I wanted to hear about table etiquette.
I'm going to come back to
Okay.
I am.
Okay. What you got?
Okay. I got to add this recipe. Okay. Recipe for elephant stew.
Okay, that's something I've never tried.
Okay, here we go,
nor been offered.
1 elephant, medium size. 2 rabbits, optional. Salt and pepper to taste. Brown gravy, lots of brown gravy. I'm not lying, this is in the cookbook. Cut elephant into bite-sized pieces. This will take about 2 months.
Yeah. This has got to be a joke.
I don't know. Add brown gravy to cover. Cook until tender, about 4 weeks.
Oh, my gosh.
But may take longer for a bull elephant. This will serve about 3,800 folks. Don't you have a wedding coming up?
I do, but not that many people.
Okay, I think you should have elephant stew.
I think I'd be arrested. PETA would show up and practically kill us all.
This is hysterical. This is the part that's funny about this. Okay, so you're like, you got to go get an elephant. Mm-hmm. You got to take how many months? 2 months to cut the elephant up. Then you cook it till it's tender for about 4 weeks, especially if it's a bull elephant, because you're going to feed 3,800 people. Now, if you have more guests, throw in a couple rabbits.
They'll never know the difference.
If more expected, the 2 rabbits may be added. But do this only if absolutely necessary, as most people do not like to find hair in their stew.
Oh, my gosh. Somebody thought they were a riot writing that. That's too funny. Obviously, that was a joke in there. I would hope.
I don't know.
Unless it came from, like, India or somewhere where there actually was elephants where they actually serve parties of, like, thousands of people.
Well, they feed, because I know hunters that, there's certain, and they do that. But on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to teach you all about table etiquette because I know so much.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Do you bowl like this? That's great. Do you bowl like this? That's great too. That's because whether you're a pro or you just want to have a lot of fun, at Peggle's Silver Dollar Lanes, we have a lane for you. We have galaxy bowling, gaming for kids and adults, Joe's Pizza, a full bar, darts, pool, and fresh and clean bowling shoes. Boy, does that smell nice. So come on down to Peggle Silver Dollar Lanes in Effingham, where we have a lane for you.
My name is Robin Stanford. I own Stanford Marketing. It's a promotional products business along with an embroidery business. And we do custom hats, t-shirts, anything, you name it, we can make it. People like that we do stuff in-house and we can actually make things here and that we're not contracting to work out to other places. We never say no. We always try to find a way to do it. If anybody can do it, we can do it. We are hardworking women, that is for sure. Come to Stanford Marketing in Flora for all your custom and promotional needs.
Give me a lumber. Doors, paint, windows, electrical, plumbing, and much more. Oh yeah, give me all your guns too.
John Lucas.
What?
You better be dreaming about all the stuff we sell here at Zink Building Center.
Oh, I would. Zink Building Center in Louisville on Route 45. It's a cool place.
Welcome back to By the Way with Beth and Stacey. We were just talking about elephant stew.
It's so good.
Which we've never had, nor do we ever
I will
want to.
never have any elephant stew.
No, never. I would never.
Yeah, but once you get your elephant stew made, it's time to have your table etiquette.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Let's talk a little bit about this. Okay. With the drive-through fast food places and family members all going in different directions these days, seldom does the family all dine together as they once did. I enjoyed these rules for eating written down some 100 years ago. Okay, so I do remember that back in the day we did sit down at the dinner table. Do you still do that?
We still do that.
Yeah.
There's 5 of us, and not every night is all 5 of us together. A lot of times Malia, the oldest, is gone, but we still sit down. I mean, a few nights we may have a schedule where we're not all there, but for the most part, we're at the table.
Really? Never. We were with Mac and Connor. Now, my family did because we weren't all in. Life wasn't as crazy as what it was when the boys and they were all in sports, so we literally ate on the run.
I have supper on the table every night at 5 p.m.
Do you really?
Everybody knows that. Sometimes in the summer it's 5:30, but for the most part it's 5 p.m. We eat early. The kids are hungry at 5. It just works for our family. It's our schedule, and then we're all there and we eat.
And everybody's there.
Go on with
I
your
wish I
evening.
would have done that, but I never did do that. I still don't do it. Okay, here we go. Never sit down to a table with an anxious or disturbed mind.
Okay. That's easier said than done.
Right. This is a good one. Never go to a full table during bodily exhaustion. Designated by some as being worn out, tired to death, used up, overdone, and the like.
Okay, can I stop you there and say that if I were to follow those 2 rules already, I would never sit at the table with my family if I was never anxious about something or something on my mind, or if I was not, if I was, I'm always exhausted. There's always something.
I'm exhausted all the time.
It's been a long day. I just cooked supper. I worked all day. I did this. I did that. I picked up kids. I ran them here. We went to 20 different appointments, sports, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
now I'm done.
Yeah, and then I sit down at the table.
Well, I have a cure for that.
Okay, what is it? Elephant stew?
Nope. Instead, take a cracker and a cup of warm tea, either black or green, and no more. So, I don't know what your problem is.
Okay, so
you just need a Zesta and a Zesta and some green tea.
Some Zesta. I don't drink green tea, but I would drink black tea. So
I like
just
both
a cup of hot tea and a Zesta cracker is really all the mom needs.
That's
to
all
sit
you
down.
need.
The other ones aren't that exhausted or anxious. So go ahead and feed them the meal that you just slaved over.
If I was writing this, and I would have added a little shot of whiskey to that green tea.
Then I need some Peruvian bark after that.
I love this one. If you feel a degree of freshness and liveliness, which will be pleasantly surprising, the body begins to regain vigor. In a couple of hours, a full meal may be taken.
Oh, so I just need to eat my Zesta and drink my tea and be quiet, wait a few hours, and I'll feel so relaxed. What did they put in that tea?
I don't know, but that's hysterical. So it's like, okay, family, I can't sit here because I'm over anxious because you're all driving me crazy, so we're not going to eat for 2 hours. It has been observed that eating hearty under bodily exhaustion can be the cause of painful illness. Thus, things being so, let every family make a point to assemble around the table, kindly feeling, with a cheerful humor and a courteous spirit. Let the member who may mar the reunion by sullen silence, impatient look, angry tone, or complaining tongue be sent from the table. Basically, you're going to be sitting by yourself.
I'll be sitting by myself. All three of my kids at some point would have something negative to say or some complaint of the day. I mean, but I think that's good. Like, let's talk what happened in your day and what's bothering you, and like how can we go on about it, you know?
I don't know, but I think that's hysterical.
That is crazy. I thought you were going to tell me how to set the table. I didn't think you were going to tell me to eat crackers and drink tea and not eat.
Nope.
No. I did learn how to correctly set a table once. Have you ever done that?
I don't even know how to set a table.
So my junior year of high school, I attended Illini Girls State, which is sponsored by the American Legion Auxiliary. And it's like this 6 or 7 day camp at Eastern Illinois University for girls where they teach you a lot about a lot about government and things like that, but they also teach you etiquette and how to be a lady. And this is what,
because you need to know government and be a lady while you know government.
But I will say the main reason why I did not enjoy this camp that much was because you were expected to dress up every day. Like, you had to wear skirts and a dress top, and I think even hosiery. Like, I just can't. I was so miserable. It was awful. But anyway, one of the things that they taught, and the only thing that I really walk away taking from that, not that I'm knocking it just wasn't for me. Some other girls probably love it. That they had a how to set the table thing, and there was this really easy code that they taught you. If whatever you're putting on the table is a 4-letter word, it goes to the left of the plate, because left is a 4-letter word. L-E-F-T.
Okay.
To the left. So your fork, F-O-R-K, 4 letters, goes to the left side. Spoon, S-P-O-O-N, 5 letters. Not on the left, goes on the right. Knife, K-N-I-F-E.
Right side, baby.
Right side, baby. Okay, a napkin, they call it a fold because you fold it. So a fold
is on the left.
4 letters.
This is crazy.
Uh-huh. So, and then your glass, G-L-A-S-S, 5 letters.
Right
side. We didn't get into all of the extra Pretty Woman shrimp fork and all that extra stuff. It was just your basic setting. And that is how I set my table when I set it. A lot of times the kids just grab the plates off the counter and go sit down. But
I never did know how they set tables.
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense. I mean, because that's how it usually goes. But it drives me crazy when you're like, okay, you got a salad fork and a fork and a
But
like
all forks, even if you have multiple forks, they all go on the left.
Forks going left no matter what.
But as far as I remember, my gosh, that's like 30 some years ago. But we didn't do a whole bunch of forks. It was kind of your basic family setting, like not like you're serving a big fancy meal to the queen or anything.
Well, whenever you've got your table setting like that, the last thing I'm going to leave you with is always eat in a thankful, gladness manner.
I do agree with that. I should always be thankful to have food because there's so many that don't.
Right.
And honestly, whatever we were craving or whatever we want to eat, we can probably pretty much make it happen other than the elephant soup.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have a lot to be thankful for. When there's other people who are hungry, they just have to eat what's given to them.
Right. Well,
even if it doesn't sound good.
Yeah, back in the Depression, I mean, my father-in-law to this day still loves milk with crackers because when the Depression,
it was comfort to him.
Yeah, I mean that back in the Depression, that was a luxury meal, having milk, and then you just took up saltine crackers and crunched it in there, and you just ate it like it was soup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is really
that sounds gross to me, but
it sounds gross to me too.
But I mean,
now I'll tell you, well, that's one thing I do wish that I had in my house that I don't have. I wish I had a formal dining room. It's the one thing I don't have, because if I had a formal dining room, there would be my china would be set. I would have a table set.
Yeah, but
all
how
the time.
often would you use it?
I wouldn't.
I mean, that's the thing about formal dining
I wouldn't.
rooms.
It would just be pretty.
They're pretty, but it's such a waste of space.
It's a huge waste of space.
Yeah, because
I would love that huge waste of space.
Nobody uses them that I know. Nobody in our world. I mean, I'm sure fancy people out there watching. If you're a fancy person, you might. But I honestly don't even wish I had.
I wish I had that big room because I'd have it all set up.
I'd have it all set up with sewing machines.
You would. Yeah, my granny's house that my Uncle R.C. has lived in for years. She had a formal dining room. And she never was into antiques and that type of thing. But no, I would, if that's what I would love to have a formal dining room because I would have it set up.
Well,
all the time.
Jim, Early Wine out there, I know you're watching. You should build her on A formal dining room.
I've mentioned it, and he's like not going for it.
What?
I don't know.
I even already know right where you would put it. Right behind the garage, right there off of the kitchen. Mm-hmm. It would make so much sense.
It would make so much sense.
Yes.
He just needs to build, throw away $70,000.
No, make it a little more than that, and not only build on a formal dining room, but you could put a little sunroom off of that, and then you could have your plants all winter.
I could have another sunroom too.
Do you know how much happier, Jim, she would be if she had plants all year long instead of only in the summer?
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I don't.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I don't know why he hadn't figured that out yet.
I don't know why either, but
I love this quote that I found today.
What you got?
It's by Patty Dye, D-I-G-H.
Okay.
This is great.
Okay.
The death rate for people who play it safe and for people who live boldly is the same, 100%.
Oh, mic drop. I thought you were going to say something different. Yeah.
Nope.
It's the same. You're going to die one way or the other.
One way or the other.
We all are.
We're all going to die. The death rate for people who play it safe and for people who live boldly is the same, 100%.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I like
I'm going to put a heart by that one. I always underline them and circle them and put a hearts by the ones that I really like. Mm-hmm. Some of them I read them, and then after I read them, I'm like,
yeah.
But I like that one.
I like that one, too. I do think I'm more of a play it safe kind of gal, though.
I don't know where I fall.
Maybe I'm in the middle.
I don't know. I don't know what I am.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of in the middle, maybe. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I make some, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like when we took over whenever I Jim and I, was talking about doing the town theater.
Right. That was a risk.
That was.
Yeah, you guys take some risks.
I will, because it's, I wanted it, and
yeah,
and it's doing really well.
Yeah, it's doing great. So.
We're starting to move along on that little adventure.
And for those that don't know, we're talking about Nostalgia Theater, downtown Flora, formerly the Town Theater. It's a building that we use for community theater. We're a 501c3. Our goal is to bring the arts to Clay County, give scholarships to the drama arts kids, and also have a wonderful venue for rent right there in Florida. So you can rent it now for weddings, receptions, birthday parties, rummage sales, whatever you need an open space for.
Anything you want to
big open space. We got it.
And it's generating, actually, it's just, small towns only have their history, and if you continue tearing down all your beautiful old buildings and not restore them, you're gonna lose your history.
That's right.
We see it in Sailor Springs. We're seeing it in Clay City. We're seeing it every day.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you what. Kudos to the Winter Roads. They're point tucking the old Stanford building.
I know, and it looks amazing.
Thank you so much for loving that building and saving that building. Because in every single picture you look in downtown Flora, you recognize which way you're going by how the Stanford building.
I bet she repaints the trim next. I'm
I
excited
bet they
about
do
that.
too.
I think
Because I know her husband
gorgeous building.
That little steeple, he was taking care of it. So thank you to
thank you
Matt
to
and Amanda Winter Road for loving that building and take care of it, because small towns only have their history. Quit taking it away. Quit tearing down old buildings.
Yeah, that's
Quit
what
doing
I
it.
say too.
Get some grit and gumption and
I'm eager to see the results of that building being redone.
Me too. But that's it for today, babe.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time.
God bless you and have a great day.